Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Bright Ideas podcast. As always, I am your host, Trent Deersmid, and I'm here to help you discover what is working in e-commerce by shining a light on the tools, the tactics, and the strategies that are being used by today's successful entrepreneurs. On the show with me today is a fellow by the name of Agie Sihotang. He is a cell phone seller from Indonesia who came to the US at the age of 15. He taught himself how to sell online at age 16, and he is now at the age of, I'm not sure if you're 25 now. I don't think you are, but correct me. Anyway, you built a multi-million-dollar wholesale company in 9 months at age 25. How old are you now?
I just turned 30, actually.
Okay, so that was a while back.
I just did.
All right, welcome to the decade of 3-0.
I don't know how I feel about that yet.
Yeah. Right? The years just keep on going by. All right. So let's start off with your company, this wholesale business that you built. What does it do?
So endotrading is actually a wholesale company that deals with housewares, toys, electronics. We deal with clothing. We deal with shoes. We sell to people who sell online, as well as those who sell at the retail stores, mall kiosk, flea market, and brick and mortar stores. So we sell products so people can sell them and make profit.
Okay. So for someone who's selling on Amazon, you're a place they can buy stuff. So they can
Absolutely. Yeah. So you know, Trent, you've probably gone to a Verizon store and you see a charger for $50, and you can go on Amazon or eBay looking at the same exact charger for $25. Mm-hmm. Those people are probably buying from companies like mine for $5, $7, increase the margins and sell them. So we're selling name brand products. We don't just sell private label products like most Amazon sellers do. We sell brands that are widely recognized.
So out of all the businesses that you could have started back when you were 25, why did you choose to start this one?
I have a very short attention span, and I love getting to know different industries and how things operate. So this business is perfect for me because I don't deal with the same products every single time. Once we sell them, once we liquidate them, they're gone. I may never, ever see or sell those products again. And I get to connect, I get to learn different manufacturing industries, different people, different types of organizations behind them. So it keeps my interest going, and there's never a boring day at the office or on the road, as you can see.
Yep. So when you first started out, how did you know, did you have certain product categories in mind? And your goal, of course, was to be able to go and buy, I guess, closeout and liquidations. Is that right? And how did you know how to do that?
That's a lot of our business. Closeout, liquidations, companies that are going out of business, warehouses, people that don't pay their rent, liens and court orders, insurance claims. We deal with a lot of those, yes. However, that's not the entire supply chain that we got, that we currently operate under. We also deal with companies who just don't sell online, or companies that produce the same products over and over, mm-hmm. and they want a reliable company to distribute their products online, to be able to control the pricing so people don't crash the prices and all of that. So with all of that in mind, to answer your question, did I have anything in mind in the beginning? Not really. I knew I wanted to sell everything. I knew I wanted to have an ability to work just off my laptop and my computer, laptop and my phone. So I started when I was a kid selling cell phones, and then I started selling TVs, and then from TVs I started selling shoes. So never really. We have a saying at the office, at the warehouse, never fall in love with your products. So mm-hmm. I don't have anything in my favorite or anything like that.
So let's talk a little bit about product sourcing, because for people who are in wholesale, who want to build a wholesale business, obviously product sourcing is the most challenging part of that business, because it's pretty hard to make money if you don't have anything to sell. So aside from the obvious answer to my question, you can buy stuff from you. Let's
Sure.
talk about what clever ways, like if you were having a coffee and I had if you and I were having a coffee and I had not been involved in this business, and I said, Agie, hey, I want to find some stuff to sell. What advice would you give me?
If you are able to travel, I would suggest that you go to one of the many expos in the United States. I'm not talking about just a closeout expo. There's clothing expo, there's shoe expo, there's baby expo, there's all those expos.
Mm-hmm.
Companies that are introducing their products or launching their products at expos, they are usually brand new, or the SKUs are new, which means that they probably don't have online presence yet, right? Online people, and Amazon has done a great job with this, that they have allowed third parties to create tools that determine how much an item is approximately selling a month, right? I'm sure you know that, Trent, and your audience does as well. But we're so accustomed to what's currently selling. Instead, what our sourcing team focuses on is also what is going to be trending, right? So when you go to these expos, they're going to get a very big exposures with retailers, brick and mortars, and whatever distribution channels they have. So, you know, after they close out the POs in the next 60, 90 days, those products are going to be trending trending up. Now, if you're buying them, though the moment you sign the PO, it's not selling yet, but you can predict that it's gonna be up there. So I would go to
how are you, hold on. How are you going to, so I'm thinking of like right at the beginning of my career, I went to ASD, and it's this huge, massively overwhelming show. And I didn't buy anything there because I didn't know what I was doing, and it was hugely overwhelming. You just said something. You can predict that they're going to go up. How do you do that?
So if it's a new company, I can't really give you a formula besides the fact that you do your research on, is it a seasonal, right? Number one. Number two, have similar toys or similar product, houseware, similar products have been selling. You can look at their competition online. When you go on Amazon, you know, you've bought a certain item, or you look at a certain item and you look at the competitors on the ads below you, or when you type in the keyword. So I'll give an example. Maybe you're looking for a cat scratcher. Okay, this is a funny toy for cats that pet supplies that we buy a lot. So you look at the product, you love it, you like it, the packaging is great. It's everything you would look for as a consumer. Then you look with those keywords. If you were a consumer, what would you put on Amazon? You would put a cat scratcher. You would put a cat step stool scratcher. And you'll see what type of products are there. Then you would order them, compare the products, and see, do you have to start from scratch in building the listing, or has there been an existing listing, it's just the price is high, or maybe there's no supply? There are a lot of people out there who use a variety of methods in determining that. But for me, my biggest strength, in my opinion, in regards to sourcing product is the ability to connect with these suppliers, to be able to connect with these wholesalers or business owners. They most of the time they don't just produce or showcase one SKU, right? They have multiple SKUs. That you brought up a good example of ASD. So let's take that for example. You go to ASD, you go to South Upper Level, for example. That's all the closeout and liquidations. I go over there twice a year. That's we used to exhibit, but we don't anymore. I go over there just to shake hands, kiss babies, and look at the new products, right? You have a tremendous amount of suppliers, and you scan every single one of them, but none of them meets the ROI, the margins, or the BSR for Amazon sellers are not good enough. But you know they're there, and you know they're selling to online consumers. So we have actually students that ended up coming to us, and I call them students because they ended up taking lessons from us. That is not our main bread and butter, but because of the demand in the past 5-6 years, we've been able to take on some people. And that's how we teach them. That's when we teach them how to connect with these people, to be able to give them the products that Amazon sellers are looking for. So there's a company, a very, very big company. They always have 10, 12 people at the booth. You can find everything in the booth and find zero product that can sell well on Amazon and make money.
Mm-hmm.
But if I go in there, or one of my students goes in there, all of a sudden they pull out from the back, or they just show you a product that meets every criteria that you're looking for. So going to this type of shows is not necessarily to buy. Yes, it is a order writing. ASD is known as the order writing show, right? Because they write POs right away. However, you go over there to build relationships, and then you buy at a later time. So if I was to meet you at a coffee shop, that is the very first thing I would tell you. Go out there and make relationships. Not just, hi, my name is Trent. Hi, my name is Agie, Sihotang. But it's more of get to know their business. Always find a solution to the problem. Everybody has a problem you got to be able to solve. So if there's an online seller, for example, maybe you have $5,000 or $10,000 that you want to invest, and you meet a wholesaler or a manufacturer, a brand owner that wants to sell a particular SKU that is not selling really well at retail stores, but they sell well on Amazon. However, maybe they said something like, well, I need $10,000 to fulfill the Walmart PO for my other SKU. So you know right away that they have a problem that they need to solve. And you have 10 grand that you can spare. However, as a business person, you would want something back in order for you to benefit your company. Not, this is not charity, right? So you tell them, hey, I'll help you with the PO, but you got to give me one of the better SKUs that sells well on Amazon. Here's $10,000, but you got to give me another SKU that I know you're not showcasing. I know you're probably selling them yourself, but let me take that SKU, and in return, I will solve your problem. I've encountered this many times. I live in nearby LA, just outside of LA. There are tons of warehouses that Trent, if I tell you how many times I go, and they have a guy or two patrolling their entire warehouse because they have 2 or 3 trailers worth of products outside of their warehouse because they can't fit them in. Oh man, it happens once a week, sometimes 2-3 times a week. You go out there, there's 2-3 trailers outside, and I ask the owner, what's up with this? Well, I don't know. We got these stuff. We haven't even manifested them, and we just know there's a few good items there, and the price is high, but I know they have a problem. The problem is they're paying 2-3 people to patrol these trailers 24/7 for who knows how long, right? So what do I tell them? What if by 6 p.m. I will have all these pallets picked up? Would you be able to give me a better pricing? And would you be able to give me the hot item that I've been asking you about? Most of the time, the answer is yes. So find a problem and provide a reasonable solution. Every businessman has a problem. When you become the solution giver and the problem solver, you'll be able to win every single time.
So undoubtedly sound advice, although not necessarily super easy to do when you're at a trade show talking to a complete stranger for the first time in a booth with 13 other people standing around you in the booth.
Sure. I agree. So there are a couple different options. The first one is, let's talk if you actually have some money to spend, right? If you have some money to spend, put a PO right then and there. Put a small PO, even if you know you're not going to be selling them. Put your name out there, get accustomed to it. If you don't have the money to put up just for multiple companies writing small POs, then get their contact information, follow up with them, call them, tell them a little bit about your business, get a conversation going.
What's a small PO? What do you mean by small PO? We talking $500?
I would talk $1,500 minimum.
15?
That's a lot of, 1500. So that's what I would say, because a lot of companies have a minimum of $1,000 or $1,500. Yeah. And if you have, let's say, $4,500 to spare, put 3 POs at companies that you think or have heard that they have products for you as an Amazon or eBay seller. But if you don't, get their phone number and call them, follow up with them. Let a week or 2 go by. Let them catch up with their ASD orders or whatever export orders they're doing, and then you talk to them. But here's what I found. I don't know if you found the same thing, Trent. We're in a business that you got to pull the trigger quick, right? Otherwise, you lose on a deal. And sometimes we get accustomed to just going to straight business. I was born and raised in Indonesia, and politeness and respect have always been a priority in my family growing up, my upbringing. So what I find, though, that the people who have deals are typically in the older generation, 50 and above, because they've been in the business, at least in LA, they've been in the business for many years. So they get all the good deals, the liquidated products from manufacturers around. What I found, though, they're so tired of these online sellers that online sellers get a bad reputation because they're just rushing. Okay, what is the product? Let me scan it. Oh, no, I don't want it. Why not? It's not selling well. It's so aggressive sometimes to these generations that when you just smile and talk to them, yes, very transactional. Let me give you $1, give me a product. But just get to know them a little bit. I mean, do you really not have 2 minutes to spare and asking how they're doing and telling a little bit about your weekend? It works for me. It may not work for everybody, but it works for me to be able to develop all these relationships. And it actually paid off. In 2018, we went through a rough stage of our company. A couple of our big clients went out of business, and a lot of things went wrong that year. There was a period of time where I wasn't even taking any salary, but I had to make sure that everybody in my company, the payroll is still fulfilled. What I did was I called 4 of these people that I know can help me. And I basically just called them and said, look, I need help. I don't want to owe you any money. I don't want to ask for money, but can I get some products from you? And as soon as I sell them, I'll pay you. Because this is a cash business, right? You pay first, then you get the products. But I reversed it after developing these relationships. 4 out of 4 all said, come to my warehouse, get whatever you want, pay me whenever you can. It helped me to go back to where I am. Within 4 or 5 months, we were back to how we were before. And all I can tell you is kindness pays off.
Yeah, relationships, especially in wholesale. Man, this is a relationship business. I say that over and over and over on my webinars. Because people, when they like you and when they trust you, they want to help you.
Yes. I've mentioned this before. It's easier to want to help an acquaintance than a stranger. It's easier to help somebody that you talk to on a weekly basis than some stranger. So at the end of the day, people, generally speaking, people have hearts. They want to help people if they can. So you just got to be able to make sure that it's worth it for them. And like I said, it works for me. It may not work for everybody, but it works for me.
So for the portion of my audience who maybe doesn't have the schedule flexibility or maybe the free capital to go to a trade show, are there other, and we'll come around to talking about how they can buy from you at some point in time, but are there other strategies that you could offer as a suggestion for those folks? They're hungry and they have time, evenings and weekends, they're willing to do the work, but they can't necessarily get on an airplane.
Sounds good. Of course, we live in a digital world, right? So all the information is free out there. You can do your research, just companies that supply people who sell on Amazon. You Google that, there are articles written. There are non-biased articles written about these companies. Not that I'm referring to myself, but there are companies out there who are just doing reviews of companies that cater to online sellers. And all you got to do is just Google it, spend some time digging, and you'll be able to find them. Make the calls, send emails. And
what keywords, if I didn't know you existed, what keywords would I use in Google to find your company and companies like your company?
So I would start with something like wholesale products, supplier, closeout companies for Amazon, liquidation companies for Amazon. ROI, BSR are probably some of the keywords that you want to input in there, because if a company tailors their business towards supplying people who sell on Amazon, they might probably put that in their in the keywords for their website. So I would start with that.
Okay.
And you can always type in endotrading, and you'll eliminate all the sourcing part. We'll take care of it for you. I had to say it. I'm sorry. I had to say it.
No problem. So let's talk a little bit about your company. So people who are Amazon sellers, that you've got a lot of people who are Amazon sellers who are buying stuff from you. You're predominantly a closeout and liquidation supplier of goods. Somebody is listening to this and they're thinking, hey, maybe I'd like to see what he's got for sale. Just give us a little overview of the types of products you carry and what it would be like to start buying from you for a brand new seller.
Sure. Think of us as Costco for online sellers. You go to Costco, maybe you have a small store and you sell sodas and you sell chips and cookies. So you go to Costco to buy them in bulk and you sell them at your stores. So in order for you to get into Costco, though, you have a membership that you got to pay. So for us, it's a membership-based company. We provide products that are tailored specifically for Amazon, eBay, and Poshmark sellers. We carry housewares, electronics, toys, shoes, clothing, you name it. Anything and everything that is not alive or against my principle as an owner, we buy and sell. We've bought and sold caskets too, and we've done it all. So I was going to tell you a dad joke there. Everybody was dying to buy it, but I had to stop myself. But anyway, we sell all those things and we list them on our website. That is one avenue of selling it, of buying. You can go to our website and reserve the products, and we'll send you the DIMs for you to create labels. You send the labels to us. We slap them on the boxes. We send it straight to an Amazon warehouse with your labels. But there's also another avenue, and that is being part of the product sourcing concierge group. So we have a product sourcing concierge, basically sourcing concierge job. In a regular car dealership, they would be called a salesman, but we don't call them salesmen because these guys got a high salary and they get bonuses from time to time, but their job is not to sell you products. Their main job is to make sure that they find you the right product for whatever meets your goal as a seller. Let me give you an example. We got a guy who wants to buy 7 days worth of inventory, and he doesn't care if it's only 5 to 10% margin. So he spends anywhere between $15,000 and $25,000 a week with us, but he just wants 7 days worth of inventory. So if Agent Inspector or Jungle Scout or whatever third-party tools you use says that it's selling 300 or 400, he just wants 100 pieces. But if there are two sellers and he's the third seller, he just wants 33 pieces, right?
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter about the ROI as long as he's making a little bit of money. But on the other hand, we have customers who only want 25% ROI, and they'll take 2-3 months worth of inventory. And we have another customer that don't really care about the ROI as long as they take the entire quantity.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me. They want to be able to get all the products out there, and at the end of the day, maybe in 6 months, they'll be the only one who sells that product in the marketplace. So the product sourcing concierge will be your consultant in what fits your model, and he'll be your point of contact in sales. All of this fall under a few different categories. Right now, we have a gold membership, which basically you get to see what we have online and you get to buy it, and there's no human interaction. And then there's the platinum membership that allows you to have access to the product sourcing concierge, and you also can get help with brand approval, meaning that if you want to sell a Fisher Price toy, but you are restricted and you can't sell it, you're gated, you can tell us that you want to get ungated and we'll help you with that. But it's only for the products that we actually sell, because we got to comply with the Amazon standards and rules, right? And you don't have to really commit to it until we make sure that you're ungated. And then the third one is we have a diamond member, which basically we provide a staff to be almost full time, but it's considered part time to be a customer service for your company. And anything you buy from us, this person will create the labels. You still are the one who pulls the trigger. You're the one who decides what goes into your store. But somebody from our company will actually create the labels, create the shipping plans, and ship them out for you. Unfortunately, I have to tell you, Trent, that the platinum and the diamond memberships right now are currently full. We do have a waiting list that people can submit. We're hoping in the next month we'll be able to open it back up. Maybe in a couple of weeks we'll be able to open it back up. We always want to make sure that everybody can be serviced. Mm-hmm. So we had a very big influx, probably the past 3 weeks, that we got tons of customers. So we want to make sure that everybody's happy, everybody's taken care of, nobody's neglected. That's why we shut it off. But we are in a process of being able to open it back up again to make sure that we got the support needed for our potential customers.
All right. We're going to finish up with 5 quick facts. What is your favorite?
Yes.
I'm just going to ask you 5 questions, looking for 5 short answers. First one is, what is your favorite business book?
Ooh, man, one. I gotta tell you, Tony Robbins. Not sure which book I gotta tell you as a favorite, but a Tony Robbins book. Can I stick with that?
What's your favorite online tool for growing your business?
I like Amazon Analyzer.
Amazon Analyzer. I'm guessing that's a piece of software.
Yes, it is a software.
I thought I'd heard of them all. I had never heard of that one. Okay.
AMZ Analyzer is what it's called.
How many hours of a week do you work?
20.
Family situation, married, kids?
Married. My wife and I both volunteer 70 hours or plus for our volunteer work. That's why I only work 20 hours, roughly 20 hours a week.
Damn, dude, that's a huge give. Good for you.
Been doing it for 11 years.
Nice. And what do you wish your younger self knew?
How to save money and how to invest money the smart way instead of splurging just because you have more than your peers.
All right. My guest today has been Agie Sihotang. Did I say that correctly this time?
Sihotang.
Sihotang. The company is Endotrading USA. There will be links in the show notes. And Agie, I want to thank you very much for making some time to come be on the show.
Trent, it's my pleasure. Thank you all. Bye-bye.